Welcome back to another video. Today's a special one because it marks the first day of the official Irma's Metal Content Week. That's right, a full week of daily uploads. I'm sacrificing my sanity and my fingers to put out 7 daily uploads in a row because I genuinely enjoy making Deepwoken lore content, like more than anything. Make sure to subscribe and like the video so you're staying tapped in throughout this week of daily uploads. A little from you goes a long way for me. With that out the way, we're going to be starting Content Week off strong with a two-parter covering the Gremmas, Celestials, Void Zones, and everything in between. I realize that this channel is somehow lacking any content on the nature of Celestials, so we're solving that problem today and tomorrow. Stay tuned because these first 2 videos will be blowing your understanding of the game into smithereens. You're in for a ride, so strap in and let's get straight into today's video. Okay, so let's begin with the Gremma. Why are we discussing the Gremma in the video about Navae and the rest of the Celestials, you may ask? Well, it's because the first earthly ties that Navae has to the Luminants is a tribe of Gremmas called the Eastern Tribe Nomads. The Eastern Tribe Nomads can be located in their appropriately named Nomad camp found in the outskirts of Etris. Well, I'm sure you've walked past these NPCs and their camp too many times to count. I doubt you've considered the nuance behind their name and occupation. They're nomads by name and status, the definition of nomad being traveling setters with no permanent home. Instead, these nomads find their home in the stars above, namely their object of worship, Navae. Navae, go figure, is a celestial. So we've made the first link between these Gremma nomads and Navae. Allow me to lay a couple more threads of groundwork directly associating these two parties. The Eastern Tribe nomads see Navae as a direct object of worship, in fact primarily referring to themselves as the children of Navae. Why? Well, it goes all the way back to the fall of the Celestials from their city Constellia. Let me explain. The Celestials and their Lightborn once resided upon the city of Constellia, floating amongst the heavens. However, Etheron, a drowned god discontent with the continued survival of the Celestials, ordered countless Kiersons to strike down Constellia with the power of multiple Kiersieges. These Kiersieges pierced the glorious arches and structure of Constellia, bringing it to its knees. With the collapse of Constellia came the descent of countless Celestials and Lightborn. Some found themselves lost within the second layer, like Kaida, but others were more fortunate. Navae, the subject of today's video, was rescued by a nomad who nursed her back to health following her unconsenting descent from her holy city in the sky. In return, Navae formed a hereditary vow with this person who saved her, which resulted in future nomad offspring receiving Navae's guidance. Navae now exists on some islands slowly moving throughout the world, independent of the Void Sea. Now, if you want more proof of this, look no further than the signature ability of every Gremma upon the expanse of Deepwoken, their compass. Each Gremma's compass points to the letter N, which I'm sure has been interpreted as north like in real life. However, it's also possible, and in my opinion far more likely, that this compass isn't pointing to the direction of north. I think it's rather pointing towards Navae. This explains why the children of Navae are nomads rather than permanent settlers, because they aren't tied down to any specific location. The object of their worship, Navae herself, is always watching, and their compass points to her location for guidance evermore. Now, you may be wondering, just what is a Celestial? How powerful must they be for a simple act of good fortune to spawn an entire lineage of nomads with gifts? Well, it's complicated. For starters, my theory is that Celestials were the existing gods of this world before the depths arose, and the drowned gods asserted their grip upon the luminance of Deepwoken. These Celestials are described as people of the stars, and it's safe to assume that they're the heavenly counterpart of the drowned gods below us. Now, besides the fall of Constellia, it's said that some Celestials descended from these stars to the Luminants during the Cataclysm. This is inherently interesting, because we note that the spread of the depths was also a response to the increased usage of the song during the Cataclysm. This further reinforces the concept of the song being akin to a literal sound, and from the perspective of the Celestials, beings below us have begun to sound incredibly desirable. Well, what else is there to speculate on here, you may be asking? Well, you have no idea. Now, as I've been reading into the Celestials, there's been a nagging feeling at the ends of my brain. There's no way that Constellia was the only city inhabited by the Celestials. Think about it. The Celestials are essentially positioned to be this world's natural gods, and their entire race falls apart once one city is destroyed in a one-off event. Well, what if I told you that it wasn't just one city that was being destroyed? Think about it. If the Celestials dwell upon the stars, it's impossible for Constellia to be the only city inhabited by these godly beings. I mean, there's so many stars in the night sky. But that's the thing, there aren't that many stars anymore. In the Studies of Cataclysm text, there's something very interesting that I caught at the beginning. There's a small excerpt concerning void fog. Void fog is described as a thin layer of fog that emanates from the depths and the void sea that subtly blots out our stars. I initially thought this was useless filler text, but it's actually a metaphor, a perfect metaphor for the fall of the Celestials. The void fog symbolizes Etheron and his Khersons, and if they were able to strike down Constellia, what's stopping them from doing it again and again? The countless unknown stars consumed by the void fog are the celestial cities we have no knowledge of, cities that have fallen in the dead of night. It's just like Caranthil, smaller tragedies eclipsed by the one that's largest, and the stars remaining behind the void fog, blinking in the darkness, they're irrelevant now. Their brethren have been slaughtered and they're powerless against the depths, so they wait. They wait for their inevitable end, unable to protect the humans they were born to govern from the ever-corrupting influence of the tides. So where does that leave us? Well, because there's now a vacant hole where the Celestials used to reside, we're left to pick up the pieces. Regions and cult-like practices have sprung up to celebrate the former life of these Celestials, and not every Celestial that falls from the sky was rescued like Navae. Some are captured like the Celestial that landed in the ancient Rotlands, bled dry for inklings of their former influence laying in their blood. This blood grants you the power of a star kindred, but this is a topic for tomorrow. So, to cap things off, I believe that the Celestials had countless innumerable cities in the night sky. However, either Constellia's destruction caused the civilization to collapse, or Etheron massacred all of their other cities with some more Kyr sieges. Symbolized by the rolling in of the void fog, the era of the stars is over, and thus begins the era of the tides. Now there's some celestial lore we haven't discussed here, and I'm yet to link them to void zones and their formation. That's the topic for tomorrow's video, so you'll have to wait for part 2. Stay tuned for when that drops, because this is content week after all, and you get an upload every day. Thank you for tuning in as always. Incredibly thankful for the support. I don't really have any words. Stay well, stay blessed, and have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.